FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
Radio 99.5 FM.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. This is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I think some other people want to be here too who don't even belong here. But Bahamians, we are having some issues, some very serious issues that affect the country. I don't think you are up to date as you ought to be and taking the necessary action that is essential, because a lot of you still do not know the importance of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have some things that are happening. We have where the government of the Bahamas is violating the law, statute law and constitutional law. I mean, how much more we must take? You're supposed to have an environmental impact assessment before any final decision is made on a particular issue. That was not done with the SpaceX thing. We're supposed to be hearing about it after the fact. What kind of crap is that? These are the kind of things that have been happening with strangers, foreigners, aliens, and outsiders. And when it comes to the average Bahamian, you want to put hell on him because his yard ain't clean. You want to put on hell on him because he didn't buckle his seatbelt. Or he just happened to do something, and I'm not saying any excuses for these violations at all, period. But it shows you how the government favors strangers, foreigners, aliens, and outsiders to the point where the law, the day passed, the day put in effect. And this ain't the first time this friggin' thing has happened. This been going on for a long period of time. Successive administrations, and you sit right there on your backside, allow this crap to happen. See them people in Pinewood Garden, they're still in that water, 32 years and counting. We talking about SpaceX. And how they're supposed to help the Bahamas. Where does the average Bahamian fit in? We don't even know the details of the agreement. And we're getting bits and pieces, little here, little there. No clarity whatsoever. And we're just hearing political personalities spouting off their mouth and not saying anything. So what that's supposed to do for me? Nothing. It is of no value, no benefit. And those of you who say you're educated, see, I got a problem with you all, You know I got a problem with you? See, the woman in Baintown with those 5 boys who's listening to me right now on her transistor radio. She ain't got no internet and them kind of thing, but you all got all this sophisticated technology. And yet you call yourself educated and you allow the government of the Bahamas to consistently violate constitutional law and statute laws. What the heck are you going to do about that? And you sit right there quietly because you're looking for one paycheck. Huh? Oh, I ain't going to say nothing about that because I won't get a couple of dollars. I won't get on the payroll. You know how many people are being added to the payroll now? I understand. And it's all over in the news, in the print news and on the radio. I don't get television that much, but I guess it's on television also. Where you have approximately 500 persons who are being brought back into the civil service, in addition to others who have been given jobs These are people who have their pensions and their this and their that, and they're getting money on top of that. You got one former prime minister who is on the authority with urban renewal. Caller, just hold on a minute. I have a point I want to explain here, then I'll bring you on. Just hold on, please. You are not vexed enough to do anything, Bahamians. You ain't serious about nothing. When the man told me, say, Professor, the people say they're serious, they're ready. I have to prove whether you're ready or not. You cannot fool a veteran like me. You could fool some other people, but you can't fool me. I can look straight in your eyes and look straight in your mouth and look straight in your nostrils and say you're a faker and a fraudster. You ain't serious about nothing. Hogs know where to rub their skin. And unfortunately, we don't have enough of you that are ready to really deal with the real issues in this country. Because the government is running amok day after day after day. And this SpaceX is only one major problem. Because there is no benefit for that woman in Baintown with those 5 boys. What happens if a piece of junk fall on her house? Space junk from SpaceX. Then what? Where's her protection? Where's my protection? Got these people here doing all this foolishness and nonsense. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Professor.
Yeah, what you say?
You saying the woman in Baintown with 5 children. What about the man, me, who see breeze with 9?
Oh, okay. Well, you just told me about that. I got to add that to the list then.
Look out for me too, man.
Yeah, but I know about the fella in Fox Hill who got 6 daughters. And he
Oh,
tell
okay.
me he trying to find husbands for them, but he can't find no husbands. And I say, well, why you can't find husbands? These young men are killing themselves. They got to stop this foolishness, man, and give the man an opportunity so he can get some son-in-laws.
Hey, Professor.
Yeah, what you say?
You ready to go back to work?
Listen, I told the people from July the 8th, I threw out my proposition. I stick with that. I'm bending on that one iota. I said, give me 18 months to solve one major constituency problem. That's all I asked them for. I've already done my homework. I know how this thing could work.
What I say, if they have, if there's 492 going back, you might as well try to get on that list.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I hear the Prime Minister was talking about a committee that's supposed to be setting up, which the government cannot interfere with, to investigate the government ministers, to investigate the police force, to investigate the defense force and all these high-level persons. I'll sit on that one.
Yeah, that's a good one for you.
Okay? Because
That's a good
I
one.
will not budge one iota. We find you contrary to the law, as we have evidence right now on
I
some
know
of
he's
them.
a sharpshooter.
Okay? No, you got to just cut it straight, man. If you have to cut straight through their veins, you cut straight through. Now, I hear him talking in the house today. It was on air. I
Don't
say
have a
now,
meeting with him, man.
no, I have no meeting with him.
That's all.
No, I ain't necessary to have no meeting with him.
Say, anyway, let me get to my point. I know time going.
Okay, go ahead.
These individuals that called back on contract.
Yeah, say about 500 of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, some of them should be even ashamed of self, you know. They get their B gratuity when
All
they
kind
was
of money.
leaving. They get an NIB. They getting government pension.
Yes, they are.
That's 1, 2. Now, day before going back, still gonna put down $900 a week if you do it by the week. Still gonna get the pension. Still gonna get the NIB. My God. I mean, those who bring these people back should look at that also.
The
Now,
people,
I know sometime, yeah, you may be retired, and sometime your harm may be in a fight because you get too little pitch in the way in college and stuff like that. You still get your big mortgage to pay and stuff like that. But that ain't on the public.
no.
That's on you.
I can tell you of a relative of mine, very talented individual, very gifted individual. And I'm pissed off with the government today for not giving that particular individual who was highly qualified. None could match the qualifications of that particular personality. But that individual was put to watch the microwave. Any crap like that? See, people were telling me about how the government of the Bahamas has been dishing young people in this country with talent, ability, and potential who worked hard and given their lives to come home, build their country, and then all of a sudden they're just watching the microwave. Yeah, any crap like that?
Well, the minister
But that is what happened. Hold on, caller. That is what happened to a relative of mine. And I'm very hurt about that. So I know how those people are feeling. You heard Desiree's mother, Desiree Cox's mother on another station? Her daughter is upset. She said so. Here's a Rhodes Scholar, man. This particular personality who they put up ain't no Rhodes Scholar. This individual had the top job in the country in the government. Look at his record. Look at his constituency. And my two questions come right to play. What has this individual done? Where are the solving of national problems? Where are the solving of constituency problems in that particular constituency represented by that person? What does the record show? But you're bringing this individual again to get more money from the public. I mean, what kind of crap is this? You mean to tell me you can't find someone, you don't create another authority now for people to play band music and to parade up and down in the street and to do walkabout? You create anyhow, let me just leave that. You create an authority just for people to have instruments in their hand, to march up and down in the road, to drill like police officers, and you call it an authority? What kind of authority is that? You didn't have it before. What you need it for now? See, these are the kind of things that are happening in this country, and we will not say anything about it. I don't mind serving on that committee what the Prime was talking about today, because plenty of them would be in trouble. I'll tell you that. Caller, you there?
And the minister say they are back to train those that who are there now.
Yeah, they're talking
I
foolishness.
try to figure out.
Talking
Wait a
foolishness.
minute.
That's utter foolishness.
If they been there 35 years, 40 years, and they come back to train. So when they go on vacation, do the job stop? Or
See,
they
the
call out
point,
sick?
the point is they've been allowed to get away with so much crap for more than 51 years.
Exactly.
They keep playing these games on us. They think we're still stupid
It ain't
and foolish
That ain't
and dumb.
just that.
No, that happened way back.
Right.
51
right,
years plus.
Right. You see? But now, well, we know the game. Sometimes these things be political.
Yeah, but you can't keep playing games with the lives of young people, man.
Well, that's the way it is.
Hey, caller, how you doing today?
Let me make my last point.
I want to show you something, caller, that is sad with this thing, what they're doing.
Go ahead.
Imagine now, like you say, you've been on the job 35 years or more, and you didn't took the initiative to train nobody in your department in your 35 years.
Shame.
Shame, because now you now home, retired, and you might misabuse your money and funds that in your pension. Now you're looking for someone to have sympathy. Where was your sympathy when you was on that job with working with others? This is why I always tell people that when we look at the way the government runs their ministries, they allow the ministries to be run by themselves instead of them saying, hey, when you reach a certain level as a supervisor, your job is to supervise but also train. So as time go by, when we retire you, we would not have to come back and look for someone like you to bring back on the job. You know, and then we trying to figure out why we losing so many of our young people to other countries because they're frustrated.
And Mr. Lightburn, look at this. They carrying home the NIB. They carrying home the government pay pension. And plus they carrying home, but maybe some of them may be making over $1,000 if you do it by weekly or maybe on 1,000. Could you imagine they still carrying this more home now than they was carrying before? They get red plate on Saturday. They get driving, they get gas. And the next thing, they get free lunch. Some of them get house allowance. Could you believe it?
My brother.
My last point.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Now, Brother Thompson.
Yes.
This for you.
Oh, yeah?
The bishop being on the other night. Say, if the churches have to go, pastors have to go in the community to do work and have trained people.
Mm-hmm.
The tithes and the love offering cannot cut it. Government will have to put a budget in there for the churches them now. Could you believe it?
That's what the bishop say?
I'm telling you, just as the day is Thursday.
Which bishop that was?
I
Is
ain't
it public?
call them names.
No, hold on. Is it public information?
Bishop Fernando.
Well, then why are you afraid to call the man name?
No, you know.
No, ain't no.
Okay.
If it is, see, anything, let me just say this to Baby people one time, okay? Y'all got to stop being scared. If the man's name is in the public domain, you can call his name, particularly as it relates to statements that he may make or his church may make. Anything that's in the public domain, you can call his name. This is what the bishop said, whoever the bishop may be at any given time. See, I just do that too, you know. The prime minister makes statements. I say the prime minister, the current prime minister. And I got the tape. If I got to get the recording, I'll put that on air too.
So now you see where we is. What happened to the church? What happened to the tithes and the offering? What they is getting? So you just can't do it for a couple churches. What happened to the rest of the church? Them? Why the government can allow these people them to push them? Well, if the government do that, let the government open up the church book and see how much money they get on the bank account. Open up the books them. Like Mr. Minutes was going to do the last time. He was going to open up all the church books and see how much money these people get. Because because they feed a couple of people, they are not being accountable and stuff like that.
Is the government, hold on, caller, don't go nowhere. Where are you going? Is the government accountable?
That's why you and I got to hold them accountable.
No, but is the government accountable?
No.
Okay. Well, you got to be careful what you say, you know. You asking unaccountable people to account for somebody else?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Well, me and you got to put the pressure on them.
Oh,
me
okay.
and you and Brother Lightburn.
That's Brother Cartwright.
Oh, Cartwright.
Yeah, well, I know who you met. You know you met him, but that's all right. Yeah. Is that all?
Okay, then.
Anything else you want to add?
No. I good. You ain't want me to go, man. I going.
Okay.
Take care, brother.
Yeah. You ain't want me to ask you that one question. But anyhow, just leaving. Brother Cartwright, welcome to express yourself.
Good afternoon, Professor. Thank you for having me here. And good afternoon, Mr. Producer J. Viz and the global 99.5 FM audience worldwide. it's amazing that administration upon administration, whether they are political cronies or persons they said that's retired. And it's amazing how they word these things. They're bringing back persons who retired to train those who are on the job now. So I'm like, what were you doing while you was on the job? You didn't have no interest to train while you were basically getting a regular salary. Now you retired, you want to train. You know, I always tell people that for some reason, the parliament, whether it's the administration or the parliament on the whole, think Bahamians are blind, illiterate, dumb, don't know what's going on. And, you know, what amazes me so much is that everyone who gets in the parliament, because everyone will tell you on the outside, boy, when we get there, we're going to do all of these different things. And then when they get there, they go back to the same old, you know. And I always say to people over and over, I say, for me personally, what we need is 39 persons who really understands not only the Constitution, but also love this nation, and who are prepared to make sacrifices. You know, one of my greatest pet peeves for me is when I look at the Constitution where it states about the size of the cabinet. And I've noticed that since those 9 members of the founding fathers, every other administration has ballooned the cabinet to the point whereby that you can't get fair assessment of the country affairs because everybody's being the cabinet. So how are you going to get true accountability if everybody in the cabinet, and we understand how the cabinet works in this system, that they all, and I saw another thing that upsets me, and I told someone this the other day, and they didn't like it, but I told them that's how I feel. Moving forward into this new Bahamas, as we all been hearing the word going around the town, all I'm gonna say, and I can be right with you, that we want to bring changes. And I said to them, I said, well, here's one change I want you all to think about, all of you all who want to run into Parliament. Why not stop your chairmans from sitting in Parliament and even sitting in the cabinet? That's a change I would appreciate. Because when you have a person who's the chairman of a political party sitting in the cabinet of the administration, they are more an intimidating factor than the prime minister. Because it's the chairman who basically sits up with the prime minister or the leader who hands out nomination. So if you pass on a policy that even though it mightn't be right, all the prime minister has to do is look at the chairman who's in his cabinet and say, well, what do you think? And once he speaks, everyone fall in line. You know, so these are things I tell people, if you want to impress me, moving this country forward, certain things we need to really seriously address. We saw the Stingham put in the Movable Property Act and took it out.
Yes.
Not one member of parliament stand on the floor of the parliament and say, you know, we need to repeal that act Mr. Stingham did.
That is quite right. We have a call on the line. Caller, you live on it. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think Mr. Clark, I said that the minister said that those persons were brought back to train the civil servants that were there.
Yes,
That's the understanding.
that's what she's saying in the parliament.
I think that's an untruth because in years gone by, were any retirees brought back to train them when they were there?
See, Mom, that's what I'm saying, because if you take a job, any job you work, and if you're the new person on the job and someone is already senior you, it is by norm that that senior person train you, because you're not going to know what to do, everything as you walk in, especially when you're dealing in a government setting. So once you walk through those doors, someone always take you under their wing, supposedly, and teach you the rules and the guidelines. So
yes, and in most instances, when persons come in, they come in as a trainee.
yes. So
But I think what happened is with this government and this administration, they came with a lot of mistrust. And so therefore, they brought back persons whom they felt were their allies and whom they could trust.
yeah, but madam, you can't run the country or the affairs of your nation with who you trust or friends.
Exactly. We all know that.
Yes.
We all know that.
And,
And it's not going to change, because if the other administration, if the other party gets in, we will be back at the same point,
and
at
that's
the
what,
same place.
and that is why I just tell everybody who comes to me and sit down with me from different political persuasion, I say to them clearly, I say, listen, man, these are some of the things I would like to see. I said, I was upset with the former administration because I listened to their former leader when he said on the trail, man, when I get in, we're gonna basically put in term limits for the prime minister. I was excited because I said, boy, there's something different that we've never seen before. Then he wanted to introduce to find out who, where, and this money is coming from to campaign. I was like, there's something that is good to move this country forward. We could see now if these things were implemented, where people are getting their money from, where when they make decisions in parliament, who is going to benefit. It would have been good for the country. And
Yes.
I said to him after the last election, I said, it's amazing how when you guys got an idea, and I said, what's so sad about it? You the leader. You let other people persuade you not to implement your policy. I said, guess what? Them things which you were talking about will die with you, because I'm guaranteed if you ask any member of parliament right now if they support term limits in this country, they will always try to give you some run around and innovations that they don't want to answer. And I was like, nobody wants to, when it comes to changes, when you sit there in that hall of parliament, and I was like, come on, man, give us something back. I talked with a few the other day.
If you'd like to make a call.
I talked with a few of them the other day about the Movable Property Act that Mr. Ingram did. And I said, have we, the Bahamian public at large, benefited from that repeal? They all sit down and quietly outside of Parliament and say, no. So I said, well, why one of you all don't get up on the floor and table a bill to repeal? And so we can now lease these islands and keys so we can now benefit from it, the country on the whole. They all said, well, we're gonna think about it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so I know how the mindset. So when I hear people come to me and say, well, we're gonna do this, and I say, like, bro, seeing is believing. I've seen administrations from the tail end of the UBP to now. So forgive me if I feel being scorched and lied to for somebody else to tell me the same story. So I always tell them, I'm like Dowden Thomas. I got to put my hand in the side before I trust you to do what you tell me. So that's how I look at it now. And I tell Bahamians, you have to basically be objective when it comes to your parliament. It's no more friends. It's no more political party. You got to feel in your gut, these people are the ones we sent to parliament. It's going to carry out, follow the Constitution of the Bahamas. That's the only way we're going to get a better country.
I certainly agree with that. But the problem we have is we have the electorate of this country giving a political party such massive landslides of seats. That's been so from 1967, straight through. We have seen the evidence where that has never worked to the benefit of the country. You find that the personalities who happen to sit in those seats, all they do is toe a line behind the particular personality who is the prime minister at that given time. There's no objectivity from these individuals. We have enough evidence to prove that. So we're going to have to decide how are we going to correct that problem, because it is a major problem. Every time I come to do this show, when I talk about the government of the Bahamas, there are always those people who are talking about political parties. I'm not interested in political parties. You can keep your political party. The thing is that political parties put up candidates to run in a general election. You may be a member of that political party, or you may be a follower of that political party. But the political party may put up a person who is not a fit and proper person for representation. What the heck are you going to do about that? Constituents need to consider coming together and finding a qualified individual, a potential representative right in their own constituency. You mean to tell me that all these so-called educated people, all of this talent, all of this ability, all of the potential, just laying on the ground for 58 years and 1 week. And we have to wait for some people sitting in some room somewhere, pull out someone out of the hat, send that particular personality into a given constituency and say, that's the one you should vote for. We haven't changed from that. We haven't challenged it. We sit and let it happen. And the Constitution says you could do much better than that. If we are serious about digging for gold, the gold ain't on top of the ground. The gold is deep in the ground. You got to do some serious digging to find the right person. There has to be discussion. There has to be communication with constituents. But so many of them are so politically polarized. And this polarization is not good for the constituents. They cannot see beyond their particular party color. It blinds them. So you don't have constituents looking for the best possible person to send to the House of Assembly to represent their interests in the House of Assembly. And from those persons who are sent there, you have a government formed. That takes a lot of work and commitment. But as long as we keep politicizing things, as we are doing now, and keep going around the mulberry bush and not looking objectively, what is it that you expect from a representative, Bahamian? If you can't answer that, then you're wasting time. What is the purpose of the government of the Bahamas? You cannot answer that, you're wasting time. What is the purpose of having a government that cannot solve national issues? What is the purpose of having a representative who cannot solve constituency issues? You need to think about that, Bahamians. The lines are open, 3260271, 3260272, 813-0271. We have to think deep, Bahamians, because the country is in deep trouble. We have to bail ourselves out of it. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Whether you're shopping for Mother's Day, Father's Day, back to school, or any occasion for that matter, you are sure to find exactly what you're looking for at the Brass and Leather Shops. Great products like handbags, wallets, backpacks, luggage, belts, shoes, and more are awaiting you. Brand names at the best quality and reasonable prices. Land, Rioni, Kipling, Guess, Travel Light, Herschel, and more. Shop any of our locations. Downtown Charlotte Street, Mall at Marathon, and also the Luggage Store at Palmdale. Be sure to shop Brass and Leather Shops. You'll be glad you did. Bahamian feel-good food in the right atmosphere. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you choose. It's the Cricket Club Restaurant at Haynes Point, West Bay Street. The food is off the chain. Bahamian breakfast. We talking stew cow, stew fish, and sheep tongue sauce. And for lunch, crab soup, okra soup, and pea soup and dumpling. Man! And for dinner, they got mahi seafood platter or steak and shrimp. Only $28.95 per person. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Cricket Club Restaurant. Call 326-4720 for reservations. Oh, and don't forget, there's a live band, The Magic Touch, every Friday night. Hey, Shoe Depot has what you and your wallet need. They are stuffed with stylish and exciting footwear, handbags, wallets, and accessories for all occasions. Shoes for the professional, casual, cute and glitzy, skid resistant, and ultra comfortable for those long work days. Shoe Depot has got you. Oh, and be sure to join our Shoe Depot Rewards Club for extra savings and earn points for special benefits. Visit either of our two locations, Place, Golden Gate Plaza, or the Palmdale Plaza. At Shoe Depot, you'll find the best selection of the best styles and at the best prices.
At Audio Plus, we carry a large selection of DJ and audio products like speakers, mixers, microphones, car audio players, and much more. You can also find a wide selection of musical instruments like marching drums, Junkanoo drums in a wide variety of colors, trumpets, clarinets, trombones, Yamaha keyboards, and Fender guitars at special low prices. Visit Audio Plus on Soldier Road, located in the Caries Plaza. Open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Phone number 394-6668. Audio Plus, your #1 music store.
I Dream of Sugar, your happy hour spot, where every day is a celebration. Big Mood Mondays, $1 wings, beer buckets, and BOGO cocktails. Tipsy Taco Tuesdays, tacos and $10 margaritas. Wine Up Wednesdays, carnival vibes with specialty cocktails. Throwdown Thursdays, $1 wings, beer buckets, and BOGO drinks. Flirty Fridays, sip $10 sex on the beach, and more. Social Saturdays, 3 for 2 drinks and platters discounted. Sunday Fun Day, unwind with $1 wings and unbeatable specials. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Sugar Rush Lounge at Bay and Market Street, just across from the Straw Market, where every day is a reason to celebrate. Sugar Rush Lounge. Call 603-2792.
From South Beach to Bay Street,
I'm pleased, I really dig your company.
it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. Famous, you need to get actively involved in what's happening in your country. Things are happening into Parliament, things are happening outside of Parliament, and Bahamians, some things are happening which is not in your best interest. And people are making decisions which are going to have long-term effects on your lives. You have to make your views known and always put it out in the public. Don't talk behind no water cooler and with a couple of friends and that sort of thing. I always tell people when they ask me questions, they listen to the show. Because I don't want to get into conversations with 1 or 2 individuals when I have the opportunity to get it to thousands at one time. I got to save my voice for when I come on the airwaves. And so I tell them, listen, and they will get it at that point in time. All right? And if there's to be anything outside of that, we will have public meetings to get it done. But the point is, Bahamians, too many things are happening in our country which is going against us. We need the support of the general public to change it. It isn't going to happen any other way, Bahamians. You can't keep just complaining. You've been complaining 58 years and 1 month. That's all the way back to January the 10th, 1967. Okay? We done passed 58 years on that one. 51 years, 7 months, and 10 days, I think, since independence. That's a whole lot of time, Bahamians. You think we could go through another 58 years, another 51 years with this foolishness that's going on now? I don't think so. And you hear the woman tell me, 32 years, all that water in Pinewood Garden. And every time it rains, she is affected by it. And not only her, but others in there too. But they're all holding their mouth. They need to talk that. They need to put that on their phones and discuss that among their people and ask themselves, what are we prepared to do in terms of getting rid of this problem? This can apply to any other constituency that have similar problems that affect them. We have some issues right in Fort Fincastle too. Some new problems that are coming up. But we can fix that. We can knock that out of the ballpark. The point is, people living in these constituencies have to get serious. They have to be organized. If you ain't sure how to organize yourself, just call the radio station, You leave a message. I want to speak to Professor Sidney Walter Thompson. I'll be delighted to show you how you can do it constitutionally. That's the only way you could win, Bahamians. You can't win by making noise and doing foolishness and nonsense. You'll waste another 51 years, 7 months, and 10 days. You'll waste another 58 years and 1 month. That doesn't make any sense, Bahamians. It makes no sense at all. All this time, we've been losing time, and people have died over that period of time. I think about that all the time. People who gave their lives, sacrificed heavily. We're going to have someone going to sacrifice this time. Some serious sacrificing has to be done. And Mr. Producer, you can play that tape for us, please.
$491 retired public officers. The answer is 491 retired public officers have returned to work, which represents 1.9% of the total number of public servants. The second question, are these public officers receiving full pension and pay? The answer is that 480 are, as is required by law.
Well, that was kind of short and brief, eh? Why you bring all those people back? Because I know of people who are trained, highly trained and qualified young people who have been complaining that they're not getting just due with the government of the Bahamas. One of them happened to be a relative of mine, and I know the particular qualifications of that individual. None had the kind of qualifications that individual had. Absolutely none in the particular field that the individual was involved in. But yet he was put to watch the microwave by the government of the Bahamas. And they weren't bringing a stranger, a foreigner, an alien, an outsider. That's how they behave. So where are these people going? To train who? We ought to have, let me put it this way, we ought to have persons moving up in the service who would have been trained, who would have been qualified. That should be there. After all this time, we got to bring that total number of persons. You had a woman say 491, and some 480, something of them.
Full pension.
Full pension. I mean, what are we saying? This is utter foolishness and nonsense. But then they believe you accept the crap they tell you. There's a lot wrong with that, even though the statement was kind of brief. But then this is the way they behave. This ain't the first time this has happened, Bahamians. This is the way they have been always behaving over this long period of time. But they just think they can just throw it on you now and you will accept it. Brother Cartwright, go ahead.
Yeah, Professor, because when you think about this, every year, technology, every time, over a period of time, evolves.
Yes.
And so if you bring in someone who, in their time when they joined that workforce, was archaic, and because the long tenure of service they've had on the job, you only promoted them up the ranks until it was time for them to retire.
Yeah.
And now you're going to bring that same person back, and you have young persons who mind is moving much faster, who has more
tech-savvy people.
Tech-savvy.
Yes.
And you're going to bypass those people and say, we're bringing him back to train you, and you have to train them in most cases. So they would understand where you at.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I always tell people, I said, I remember the time back in the day when they came up with the computers, IBM, and you had to basically tell you to get into that, you had to go off to university.
Yes.
Today, your grandniece or little children, baby kids now can pick up any information for you from their phones.
From their phone, that's correct.
So you're going backwards instead of going forward.
Yes.
You should encourage these people to say, listen, man, if you want to retire, go ahead. We give you time to go home and enjoy yourself. Now, before you retire, we'd like for you to at least train, promote.
But that should be an ongoing process.
But that's the problem. So what you're telling me now is that you have to bring these people back because why? One, they were selfish when they was on the job because they never shared no knowledge.
That's right.
So if you never shared no knowledge when you was on the job, why should I bring you back and reward you for the amount of years you've been there and you ain't trained no one? I
You
always
ain't
tell
pay
people that
nobody.
I did a look through the telephone book
Yes.
and I came across there are 90 government agencies.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, roughly each one of those agencies roughly carry about anywhere to about 5,000 marks. And I said, you mean to tell me that in those government ministries, we retire people and we still just got to bring some of these people back?
Yes.
To do what? If you didn't plan for your retirement, that is on you. That is not on the country to make sure that you come and eat at the trough again.
That's right.
You were compensated when you came into those doors as a trainee and you move yourself up the ranks to the retirement. That's on you. They say the foolish man built his house on the sand.
Yes.
So do not think we are foolish. We didn't realize this game has been played. And I think the baby people are saying to you, Miss Minister, all due respect, you should let those people go home and enjoy their retirement.
Thank you, Brother Cartwright. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good day. Professor Thompson, Canada on the Freeport Grandmama. Yeah. Cartwright, how you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, man, bro.
Professor and Cartwright, you think, although I don't got nothing against the people, you think they open the door? You remember when they knocked down all the shantytown and Abaco and Eleuthera and Nassau, you know, and Farrington, I mean, everywhere. You remember that, right?
They said they knocked down some.
Right, they knocked down the shantytown, but the people.
No, hold on, caller. Hold on.
Mr.
Hold on,
Thompson
caller.
said,
Hold
where
on.
did they go?
Put the caller on hold, please. See, this is getting me angry, you know. I said to the caller to hold on. They knocked down some shanty towns or some buildings in shanty towns, because we still got the shanty towns right here in New Providence. We still got them in Abaco. We still got them in Andros. We still have them in Grand Bahama. I think only Long Island don't have no shanty town.
Nope.
Now, what is it that Long Island is doing that they don't have no shanty town over there? Like, I got to bring someone from Long Island to tell us how is it that they could keep that Long Island free of shanty towns. And as small as New Providence is, we got all kinds of shanty towns around this place. I think we need to understand that, Brother Cartwright.
Well, Professor, one of the things that you would notice, and I always tell people that they don't understand the Long Island people is that they work the land, they do everything themselves. My grandfather had acreage of land, and my father and his siblings were children, they had to work that land themselves. So they got an appreciation of the land, whereby that their thinking is, this land is your inheritance. Only you can create wealth from your inheritance, no one else. And so that has been passed down from generation to generation. So if you have no affinity for land, if you have no affinity to make that land work for you, then you're going to do like most people do in the city. I'm going to bring someone in and I'm going to act like a lord and a baron and watch you work. And so basically they become lackadaisic, and they feel that because they have this power that they now being smarter or they have arrived, but not knowing that one person you bring into that land, as they say in the shanty town, because I always tell people that in the shanty town it starts with one, you know.
Yes, it does, yeah.
And then he brings in someone else.
Yes.
And then they bring in someone else, and they can keep going. Because why?
Correct.
No one ever said to them, hey, this against the law, stop. And so people turn around and said, if you come into the country, like I always tell people this, those shanty towns were created by those persons who brought some people in, whether illegal or legal, through work permits and whatever, but never provided a housing facility for them.
That's correct. Yeah.
So when these people go into the bush and set up shop, house and everything, We just let it sit there for years.
That's correct.
When we should have said, hey, from day one, if you come into the Bahamas legally to work, and if you don't have no place to stay, we would now revoke that work permit, and you go home until whoever required for you find a place of abode for you to stay. And if you enter the country legally, and you basically go into our bushes and stuff to set up shanty towns, once you're caught, we will look at your documents, and then you'll be taken to the courts, and then you basically repatriated home. So you have to have tough laws.
Yes, I agree.
And you have to enforce the laws.
Yes.
Laws don't enforce themselves.
No, they don't. You have to have enforcers to do it.
You have to have enforcers. And so all of this stuff, I think the caller was saying that he was going on the road. I believe he's going to say that without these shanty towns now, some of these people now are going to be given jobs. And I was like, could be. But the thing is this. When you go on a job, and this is one of the things that I noticed you don't hardly see in the private sector, only in government. Most of this stuff is just rehiring, where people go back into the thing. It happens mainly in government. Yes. In the private sector, they let you train and they move you on.
They move you on, yeah, they do, yeah.
Only in governments you see where they keep bringing back people and for second and third time eating at the trough.
Exactly, and you have the number so large, almost 500. Almost 500 people. Let's see if the caller is still there. Caller, Mr. Gone. Okay, fine. All right. See, when I say, and let me just say this for the benefit of callers, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to anybody. But callers, you have to learn to listen when the host says something to you. All right? The host is in charge of the show, nobody else. So if I ask you to slow down, I want to explain something or to say something to you, please learn to listen, because a lot of you don't listen, you know. We have some difficulty with persons who call the shows. We want you to call in and express your views. That's fine. That's all well and good. But you have to learn to listen for when the host says something or asks you to stop or to make a corrective point, because I have a responsibility to do that. I just can't let people just run on, run on, run on. The shanty towns are still there. They haven't gone anywhere. You've had some buildings knocked down. Yes, we have had no persons, as far as I know, large numbers of people being deported from the country. There's been no word from immigration. There's been no word at all. I believe you have a caller, Mr. Producer. Okay, yeah, Mr. Producer saying I have a caller. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes,
How are
ma'am.
you?
Yeah, I'm okay today.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to Mr. Cartwright.
Yeah, Brother Cartwright.
One of the things I want to say, as Bahamians are very frustrated now.
Yes, they are.
And because we are now more informed about our Constitution.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a great feeling that the next government of the Bahamas is going to be operated very differently.
Yes, ma'am.
Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because like you've been saying, who is coming to our doors now looking for our votes?
Yes.
If you can assure us that you're going to do what our Constitution tells you to do if you make it into the House of Assembly, then we ain't voting for you.
But let me add to that. Those.
So we have much more information this time around than we did at any other time.
Yes, ma'am.
And as we talk about enforcing the laws and all of this illegalness that's going on in this country,
yes,
people breaking into the country,
yes, ma'am,
no penalties. You set up your house on people's land.
That's right.
No penalties for that. We ain't gonna have that next time.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not gonna have it. All right. We're ready right now to deport everybody who can prove their forefathers were Bahamians.
That's correct.
So we want to go beyond mother and father.
Oh,
we
yeah.
Go down to grandparents.
You got to go. You got to go very deep. Couple
And
generations
if
deep.
they can't prove who they say they are, we are gonna have a lot of people deported. I can assure you.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you broke in, you had your children, that's on you. We're
That's
gonna
right.
do like what Mr. Trump is doing in America.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame him.
But we're not gonna reward bad behavior. And breaking into somebody's country is bad behavior.
That is.
I don't even want to hear work permit. I don't want to hear residency. We need to get our country under control.
Yes.
So we got to start over.
Start all over from
Get
scratch.
some of these people out of here, and then we can put on the books who is here, who is supposed to be here. And then when it comes to that grabbing up land that Mr. Ingram had put in place,
Yes,
we're going to revoke that.
you have to.
We're going to revoke that.
Yes.
So I can tell everybody who's up for they running, they better have these things in order if they're going to come to anybody's door in this country this time.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
not going to do this again.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
not going to do it again.
We cannot
So I
fall.
appreciate you.
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Let me let you finish.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wanted to let you finish before I comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, like I said, you have opened our eyes on many things.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going to change a lot of things this time.
Yes,
Ring
ma'am.
the bell, Mr. Davis. We're ready for it.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
caller.
sir.
Thank you very much indeed. See, you have to look at this objectively. All right? Mr. Davis happens to be the one as the prime minister at this particular time. And there are some people who are saying he is the one for the job. All I say is let's look at his track record as prime minister. Remember now, he was in an unconstitutional office as deputy prime minister. Don't forget that. See, a lot of us just forget these things. You know, I don't forget anything like that. This man was in an unconstitutional office called deputy prime minister. We can't let that slide. Now he's in the office of prime minister. That's a constitutional office. But then he's also minister of finance. That's another constitutional office. I don't know if it was in the mind of the founding fathers, and this is just a view of mine, whether when this was set up, that the prime minister and the minister of finance should be one and the same person. That's trouble right there. Because we got a legislation that has been passed in the House where those two offices locked into one particular person, passed in the parliament, you know, and give this one particular person all this executive power and authority, cannot even question it. Do you know they put that in an act? They deliberately did it, Bahamians. And you were sitting right there on your backsides and not raising hell with the Parliament of the Bahamas. Come on, Bahamians. Let me say the House of Assembly, because that's where it started. Then it went on to the Senate, and they just say, okay, we're going along with you all. Parliament consists of a Majesty, the Queen, a Senate, a House of Assembly, and then the Governor General just signed it into law. And it's unconstitutional. It doesn't line up with the spirit and letter of the Constitution. And see, these are the things we're not examining carefully and looking at, Bahamians. You just can't allow people to just walk all over you, stomp all over you, throw all kind of crap on top of you, and you just gobble it up and just sit back and say, it's okay. Now, I hear you. What's the name of this new law again, Brother Cartwright?
The new bill that just passed was the Independent Commission of Investigation Bills 2025.
I wouldn't mind serving on that one. Based on what I heard the Prime Minister say, I wouldn't mind serving on that one. Because I got to see the particulars of what they say on it, because we need a lot of investigation in this country. At the cabinet level, we need investigations. At the level of members of the House of Assembly, we need investigations. And this is supposed to be an independent. Now, who appoints this committee or independent authority?
That goes through the Prime Minister and the Leader of Opposition.
Yeah. Now, see, that's the problem right there. You see, we come right back to zero. If it got to go through him and the Leader of the Opposition, because they have created a situation, unless, I would say, the particular personalities who are appointed carry out their functions without fear or favor of the Leader of the Opposition and the Prime Minister. That would make the difference. But we have seen over many years, even though, look at the Disclosure Commission then, look at that. And they're saying that the Leader of the Opposition and the Prime Minister have to act even if the fellas don't disclose. Is that what you're saying? We haven't had anybody brought before the court and fined. The fine's $10,000, I think it was, or 2 years in jail, or both. But we will see. I'm going to have to look at this one. But somewhere along the line, Bahamians, we got to get serious about running this place. Because there's just too much crap is going down in this place. 58 years and one month. We got to stop the foolishness. This is Professor Sidney Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. But we need men and women of character and decency. That's what we need. That's been a major, major problem. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. We'll be back after the break.
Express yourself live. We'll return right after this.
Myra Scents and Gifts, formerly Bed and Bath Concepts, is located at the Mall at Marathon. They've got gift baskets, gift sets, teddy bears, and women handbags. You will also find the best selection of perfumes, especially the now hard to find ones, like Club de Nude for men and women, Red Door, Perry Ellis, White Diamond, and an assortment of Arabian perfumes, just to name a few. It's Myra Scents and Gifts. Friendly atmosphere, affordable prices, satisfied customers. Come on in. We're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Telephone 393-5958. Myra Scents and Gifts.
Are you looking for a great deal on floral arrangements? Well, Pedal Pushers is here for you. Pedal Pushers Elegante Florist is known for its spectacular arrangements that highlight your unique occasions. For this week only, they are offering not 6, not 8, but 12 beautifully arranged roses for only $75. Take this opportunity to show how much you appreciate that special someone or to add elegance to your party or event. They also cater to yacht, hotels, hospitals, and private engagements. 12 roses arranged for $75. Pedal Pushers is located on West Bay Street, or you can call them at 326-2663.
Wise Bahamian shoppers know when times are hard and things are tough, it's more sensible and convenient to shop at YCares Fashion Center. YCares has slashed prices on brand name clothing and shoes by up to 50%, including academics, Clarks, polo, and hundreds of jeans and dicky pants. And as much as 70% on selected items. Choose from a large selection of beds, sheets, rugs, and towels, all at affordable prices. YCares in 3 locations to serve you: Bahama Avenue, Prince Charles, and East Street South near the Sir Charles Hotel. YCares, where you can afford to look good.
I need this fridge, I need that stove in the corner there, and I think I might need that washer too. Why in the world I gonna pay for all these things?
No worries. At Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center, for a limited time only, we've got inter financing with 0% interest and a 50% down payment, and easy weekly payments as low as $20 a week. We make it possible for you to take home what you need today.
So you telling me it's a weekly payment of $20? Just $20?
Yes, and here's all you need to apply: your job letter, a pay stub, a valid ID, your utility bill, and a stamped salary deduction form.
Boy, that was such a wonderful experience. I got everything I needed, and I didn't even break my bank for it.
So what are you waiting for? Visit Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center on Mackey Street today and take advantage of our hassle-free inter financing. Your dream home is just one application away.
Contact us at 698-0123 or WhatsApp 557-2522.
Bahamas Liquidation Auction Center,
where you say hello to goodbye.
From Cable Beach to Montague, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. This is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. Listen, in spite of the fact that we got some problems, I have great hope for the Bahamian people. You know why? Because we trust in God. We're going to have God help us to deal with these burdensome, crushing issues where the government of the Bahamas, and someone told me they're being pressured from outside. I don't know how true that is. They ain't tell us they were being pressured outside. They didn't say nothing like that. But I was informed that that is happening. But in spite of any pressure, we're going to trust God to help us to get this country straight. Because Bahamians, we need the Bahamas, not for Mr. Donald Trump, not for that other fella I name, the Musk man, Elon Musk, whatever his name is, or any other foreigner who may wish to come to the Commonwealth of Bahamas. They could come as visitors, ain't no problem with that. But when it comes to running the affairs of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas on behalf of the Bahamians, we got to have some honest, reliable, dependable, responsible citizens. I ain't talking about them fellas who got a piece of paper talking about their citizen. I ain't talking about that group. I'm talking about real, bona fide, genuine Bahamian citizens. Caller, you're live on here. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Professor.
Yes,
this
sir.
is Lang here from Freeport.
This is, no, I didn't get the name.
Hello, could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah, I fully concur with the lady, your previous caller. The lady, she was right on with
Yeah,
that.
she was.
We do have, our country right now is in crisis mood.
Yes.
We have a serious immigration problem.
Very much so.
And no one seems to be doing anything about it.
That's correct.
And I think, to be honest with you, the Prime Minister is the biggest part of the problem. Whether he likes it or not, I'm going to say what I have to say. He is a part of the problem, big part of the problem.
Well, he is the chairman of the Immigration Board.
Yeah, chairman, I don't know whether he does, what he's the Prime Minister of the country too, but here is.
Yes, he is.
Here, I can tell you right now, here in Freeport, when you see one or two Bahamian pass by, you see 3 or 4 immigrants, illegal immigrants, or Haitian pass by. I may as well tell you like it is. That's. I'm not holding any words, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. People talk about victimization and so on, because of what you say and all of that. I'm a Bahamian, you know.
You are.
And you're gonna victimize me. Just go ahead. Just try it. Just go right ahead. Whoever, and I can tell you who I am by name and what I do and all of that. It doesn't make a difference.
Yes, sir.
I'm not afraid of none of them. But I can tell you, we have to find a way to deal with this crisis.
Yes,
this
we do.
Crisis is causing Bahamians to be unemployed. I can tell you, every illegal immigrant in this country is working. Okay, they all have a job. Whether they clean the window, whether they cut in the yard, whatever, they are working. And you find a lot of Bahamians are not working,
Yes.
And I try to understand how in the world they get these work permits. Who making these decisions? How they get these work permits? The lady was right. We need to just cut it out. You're going to stop it. We should stop it. The next government will do some changes, will make some changes. And I don't think this current administration is going to be the next government. I can tell you that now. I don't feel that way.
Yes, sir.
But some changes need to be made, and a new government will come in with new ideas, and we need to bring in some younger people as well.
Yes.
We have to bring in younger people. Professor, I have to say that I've been around quite some time.
Yes, sir.
And I've watched the civil servants, over the years, the same old people.
Yes.
You have kids leaving school at 18, 17, 18. And I am saying this to you. Every Bahamian that leaves school, who doesn't go to college, what have you, should have a job available as a civil servant for them, whether they want it or not. It's up to them to take it or reject it.
Okay.
Go in the private sector, start your own business or whatever. But a job supposed to be available for those individuals, those young people.
Yeah.
You know, we have the system clogged up with people who've been there 50 years of service and all that. These young people wouldn't get a chance.
Yes.
You know, they can't get a chance, man. I mean, what are we doing?
Yes.
I mean, come on. My philosophy, my thing is that if each civil service should be given at least about 20 to 25 years. Once you get that 20 to 25 years, brother, sister, you better pack up and leave and go.
Yes.
You know, go in the private sector or start your own business, because if you couldn't do something for yourself in 25 years, you know what I mean? You're just meaningless. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, I understand.
25 years is enough. And bringing back these people the other day, bringing back with 400 and something, and paying
Almost
them
500.
pension
Yes.
and 500 and paying pension and salary.
Yes.
The minister said it. I think
the minister, they keep their benefits. They keep their benefits.
How in the world you can have two? You can have pension and still getting a salary. And these are heavy top. These are top
No,
heavy
these are
people.
top heavy people, yeah.
These are the top heavy people. They're making big money. You're talking about up to $107,000 each a year. Come on, man. When are we going to when are we going to stop this madness?
Yes.
You know, the human people need to put the cap on, thinking cap on, and do what is necessary. Hell with PLP, hell with the FNM. First of all, your allegiance to the country, to this Bahamas. You are a Bahamian. That's
Yes.
first and foremost.
Yes.
Party comes afterwards.
Yes, sir.
All right? If the country is in good shape, whoever gets the country in good shape, you get my support.
Yes.
Okay? But if you can't do the job, I get rid of you. And that's it. You know, don't hang on to no party. It's about time we stop this foolishness with party. You know, we need to look out for our country.
We need to look out for the country. That is correct.
Okay?
You're
We got to look
quite
out for our
right.
country. We got children, grandchildren, and all of them, and they can't even get a chance, man.
No, they're not
I
getting
mean,
a
I
chance.
had my chance because I went to school and, you know, get a little bit of education and do some things for myself. But, you know, my kids, and some of them 30, 40 years old, and what they're going to do, sometimes it's hard for them to even get enough money to buy a piece of property.
No, you're quite right
And the way how
about that.
things is.
You're quite right about that. If I
You
don't
know?
have your name and number, I'd like for you to leave it with the producer for me.
I will leave it with the producer.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, and I am serious about it. It's about time Bahamians get up, stand up, and just move. You know, let's deal with it. We have to action now. We can't be talking, being so diplomatic about this and that.
No.
We got to take this country back because it is actually leaving us. I can see it.
You're quite right. You're quite right
You know?
about that.
Anyhow, Professor, that's what I have to say right now. Right now, I get vexed sometimes, and I
But
think
I
about
just
this.
get vexed too. See,
I
the
get
vexer
vexed.
you get, the closer you are to doing something about something.
Yeah, Professor, we got to
Yeah.
do something. But I'll
Now
leave my
stay on the
views.
line, Mr. Producer. Please
Yeah,
get his
okay.
name
Thanks
and
for the
contact for
time.
me. Thank you very much. He did a very good call. I appreciate that.
I think we got another caller.
We have another caller. Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes, sir. How are you?
And good afternoon, the guest,
Brother
and good afternoon,
Cartwright.
Bahamas.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Brother Cartwright. Yeah.
Professor, that's the one who's go to the house.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I got one question for him.
Yeah.
But Professor, listen here. We really got to check see what's going on, because I think when they run on with this marital rape, our ministers, I mean, they can't be this backwards. They can't know the Constitution. Professor, listen to me. I'm a married man, and I cannot testify against my wife. If I go into court, any judge, no matter where you is, he'll throw that up, because that is utter nonsense. I don't understand how we can have our ministers them. Listen, Professor, Professor, we get off that. And I was thinking about this, man, Professor. Professor, you know, you as a Constitution man, anyone talk with anything but marital rape outside the house now. You see, the house got privilege. If they say anything outside the house, you as a Constitution man, you could charge them for treason. You know that? Because the Constitution of the Bahamas says abiding. I Google abiding. That means it cannot be removed. Abiding respect for Christian values.
Yes.
And Galatians chapter 8 say anyone bring any gospel, anyone bring anything different from what we preach, let them be accursed. Everybody silence. The Christian Council silence. All the Christians them silence. And first I got him with one more. I got him with another one. He say, listen here. Deuteronomy chapter 32. No, Deuteronomy chapter 19. He say, one could put 10,000 to shame. I don't know what these people is be running around with, man. But Professor, y'all have a blessed day.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, it's two could put 10,000 to flight.
I'll say this, Professor.
Go ahead, Brother Conroy.
I don't know if he listened to the read in the papers and listened to the radio the other day. On Monday, this marital rape came up in a divorce proceeding.
Okay.
And the magistrate said to the defendant, there is no such thing on the books called marital rape.
That's right.
Because the woman said that she felt that she was raped. But the court said to her, okay, we have such as abuse. And the court ruled for her to get a divorce. But the magistrate chastised both parties because she showed them that under the law, dealing with marriage, it is like a binding contract. So if either party breaks it, and she says that abuse don't have to be physical.
Yes.
But she also explained to the man, listen, if she says she doesn't want to be bothered, you can leave her alone. You have to leave her alone because she can now file under the law abuse.
Yes.
And she said, since you guys were not seen to be compatible for this period of time, she said she granted. Because the guy admitted, yes, he said, I went and I took, and she's like, no, you can't do that. And then she said to the woman, you know you married the man, and you know he has his needs, and if you didn't buy back, you know it's going to be a problem. So she said, you know what? According to the law, there is nothing in the books. And she will not interpret the law for marital rape.
No.
She can only make a ruling on what is in the law. And she said, be granted on the books, because of the law, she granted a divorce on the basis of abuse and mental cruelty. And I was like, whoa, finally we're going to put them.
Yeah.
That finally puts it against to it. But something the caller said earlier too, the previous caller was talking about the cost of land and stuff.
Yes, he did.
The Minister of Housing, Mr. Bell, in his last statement in the previous House City, not this one, acknowledged that the reason why the land people can't afford homes is that we have foreigners buying up land and it's caught driving up the price.
Yes.
So I was like, you all know this, then repeal the act which they're going to implement it, whereby that these people can no longer buy land.
Yes.
They can only lease.
That's right.
It will bring down the cost.
Bring it down the cost, yeah.
Then the lady was talking about with lineage. And when she said that, it made me smile because in the Turks and Caicos, their status, what they call a status or belongers status, you only qualified if either your parents were born in the island of Turks, or either your grandparents, or either your great-grandparents. And so basically what they're saying, born in the Turks, if you ain't got none of those, meet those prerequisites, those are qualifications,
yes,
you can't get status. And I was like, but what if you born there? And someone said to me, well, the British, you might could sit down and look and see how you can apply for British citizenship. But as a Turks Islander, no, that's different. And I was like, wow, I didn't see that. I didn't know what could happen. I mean, he said, yeah. And I was smiling because when you hear people talk about status, we have not really taken it seriously enough in this country to implement the laws on our books. And we were saying off air, many people want to be in parliament. And I always say to most people that those who want to be in parliament, you must have some knowledge of the Constitution. And you've got to look at policy, see, because you saying to me, yes, man, put me in the house and I can bring changes. And I say, okay, what changes? And I even point out things to you and say, listen, man, for instance, the Movable Property Act. Why no one, I wouldn't hear anyone on the campaign trail speak to those issues like, are you going to repeal that act? Are you going to implement term limits for the prime minister?
Yes.
Are you going to do campaign funding where we can know where this money coming from, who's influencing policies in our parliament? You know,
some big time influencing.
And I said things like that. And so, and for me, like I said again, are you willing to be that bold and say, you know what? If our party was to become or have some seats in the parliament, we would try to make sure that our chairman will not have a seat around the table of the cabinet. We would look to bring down cap on the cabinet size. These are the things that I want to see happen. You know, people talk about the sovereign wealth fund or the investment fund, and I was like, break it down so we can understand. Don't tell me nothing out of the air. I want to know how much, what all of our natural resources is, because I'm doing something for another show on a Sunday that I'm starting to put together, and I'll talk more to it on tomorrow. But I want to read some of these Facebook comments we got here. Mr. Richard Brown. Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson and Mr. Cartwright. If one retired pensioner making $304,000 in 2 years, let's add it up for 480 retired persons. If their 480 retired pensioners are being paid $15,000 a month in salary and a full pension that is $77.2 million monthly combined for the 480 retired persons in a year. That's over $85 million so far before the next election. They will be paying them same retired workers. They brought back over $85 million in salary and pension for 1 year.
Right.
Stanley Johnson says, it's 51 years and 8 months, sir, not 58 years, sir. Then Ms. Carey said, this is how our government laundering our money. Mr. Stanley Johnson said, we have no shanty town in Auckland. I'll wait to see the producer to scroll up some more so I can see some other comments.
Right.
But that's it so far.
Yes. Well, people are very much concerned about what they see happening in the country. And I'm delighted that people have been listening to the shows. And I want them to take action. I want them to be constitutionally sound. What I'm very much concerned about is I want to see movement on the ground. While I appreciate the comments from the lady who called into the show, that's a positive sign.
Yeah.
But we have to see rock solid movement of constituents on the ground in their particular constituency. Because, see, people need to understand this. You do not vote for a prime minister. That is not the job of the constituents in a given constituency. The job of the constituents on the register of voters, they're responsible for choosing a parliamentary representative. Aim is you need to get this clear in your head. A political party may put up an unfit person to run in a given constituency. You may be a follower, and most of you are just followers of these political parties. You have nothing to do with no decision on nothing. All you do is sit right there and suck up the crap they throw out at you. And that doesn't make any sense. Hold on, caller. Don't go nowhere yet. Let me make this point. Bahamians, I am saying to you, you have to dig deep in your own constituency to find the right person. Yes, there'll be people on the outside who say they want to come in and work. But those who've been there before, just ask them to answer those 2 questions I've been asking from last July the 8th. Let them answer that. Let's see what they tell you. And in fact, you could see for yourself. You ain't got to ask them nothing. The record is wide open for everybody to see. Now, them new fellas who say they want to come, let's see what they have to say. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Caller, you live on air. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Professor, and good afternoon to your guests.
Yes,
My question for the government is, if you're bringing people back to train persons that need to be in a position, we have COB, we have UB, we have all these colleges around. Aren't we allowing persons to go back to school and learn rather than bringing people back? I think it'd be much cheaper to educate than to train. I mean, that's my 5 cents on it, but I think the government has come to the conclusion that Bahamian people aren't smart. We are silly. We're going to keep electing them because whatever they tell us is good for us, and we don't know what's good for us no more. So until we show the government, listen, we hire you to do a job, and if it's not in our benefit or our best interest, you're going to have to move along.
Yes,
and it's time for us to tell the government, let's move along. We need to do something new now. We need to do a change in this country. We have children, like grandchildren coming up, our great-grandchildren coming up. There will be nothing left for them because if we continue this cycle. And I think it's time for the Joshua generation to come and inherit their land and get rid of these jokers. We've been joking around for 51 years plus, you say, Professor? Let's fix it. It's time for us to fix this. It's no longer talking.
Hello.
We need to.
Let me ask you this question, if you don't mind asking.
Yeah.
You mentioned this group called the Joshua Generation.
Pardon me, I didn't hear that.
I said you mentioned the group called the Joshua Generation.
Yes.
So who are the Joshua Generation?
I consider the new millennium the Joshua Generation.
Well,
that's 40 years of Moses.
No, but you know,
and don't understand where the position they are in and the purpose they are here for to inherit the land. They're gonna have to die out and go. That's the old people keeping the system backward.
But here's the
thing:
the
Joshua generation is gonna be the one who says, like Caleb, give me this mountain.
But do you realize that Caleb followed Joshua?
Caleb was under Moses, and Joshua
No.
and Caleb was under Moses.
Caleb followed Joshua.
Yes.
So means that Caleb is the generation that you mostly referring to because see, Joshua followed Moses. So so if you look at it, if you're talking about politically, you say, well, so Lyndon then was referred to as Moses. Then you had the Ingram era, which was basically Joshua. Then you had the Menace era.
The Christy era, the brave era.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, right? So when you start to move on, you got to look at now the Caleb generation. And I always tell people this. Parliamentarians is what we need. We don't need political parties or we don't need personality. We need 39 persons in this country who is willing to serve and follow the Constitution of the Bahamas. Not
I agree with you.
and see,
Hear me out.
yeah, and that's what
Hear
I
me
say.
out.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember the part where Caleb's daughters went to Joshua and say, what's our inheritance?
Yes.
You remember that part of the Bible?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the part I'm talking about.
But
those people who are going to come to whoever we elect, because it's obviously that when they go into Parliament, they drink a potion. And we go right back into the same cycle.
I gotta laugh at that one, darling, because you make me smile.
That they all drink, and we end up in the same little circle playing around.
No, but
here's we can look to some people that can say, "Hold on, I'm entitled to something here.
Yeah, but
give me my inheritance."
Yes, I understand you, my dear. But what I'm saying to you is this: that is a question that we, as electors, have to ask every individual who wants to see. That Parliament only has 39 seats in it. Only 39.
The House of Assembly.
The House of Assembly, which only has 39 seats. We got to now find the 39 best amongst ourselves to sit in that hall and carry out the mandates that we want. Because even if you change parties, and this is what I always try to tell people, changing parties is good. But we've seen what happened to us after a while with parties. Once they get in, they tell you when they get in, they say, oh, but what I was saying to you on the campaign trail, that's only campaign talk. And then we stuck with them for 5 years. And I want to now tell people that, look, for me personally, see, like I tell people, them, colors don't matter to me no more. I done seen enough from the tail end of the UBP to now.
Yeah.
And I really ain't reached 70 yet. And so I've seen, I feel, I've lived.
Yeah.
And I can tell people to this day, I watched my grandparents them in the island of Long Island died without having electricity. I watched my grandmother used to go in the field. She died at the age of 90. And so I watched how my people in Long Island, how some of them today still basically try to do things on their own. What has happened to us is that we get caught up in these colors, whereby that we know the party send an individual to you to vote for isn't qualified, but we still send them in the parliament anyhow. What we've got to do now in this country, break that mold. Any party wants to have a seat in parliament, your candidate must fit into the fabrics of our constitution, also fabric of the community that he wants to represent. Because if he cannot sit down and talk to the people and say, when I get in, if you elect me, I am going to fight for you, this constituency. I don't want you to fight for the party. Because if you fight for the party, it's cheaper I keep the same old, same old. I want you to tell me, honestly, you would fight for me as a representative. And this is where we lose so much, because what we do is that we elect persons who go into the parliament, forgetting that a parliamentarian is not a party affiliate.
Yes.
A parliamentarian is someone who sits in the parliament and they make laws and they represent the constituency. And not everyone in your constituency voted for you. So your job is to represent the whole community. This is where we run into problems. Many of our parliamentarians, when they get in, they keep on the party colors, and when you go confront them, and a lot of them, you watch them when they lose an election, or they be mobbing everybody in the world and saying, "Oh, the people are ungrateful." No, you are ungrateful because the people send you to do a job, and you refuse to do it. So you have no one to blame, and you lose. So this is what I try to tell parliamentarians: your job in this 5-year contract you sign is to fight and make the lives better for the people in the constituency who send you to parliament to represent them, not your party. The people.
Yeah, let the lady continue. Go ahead, ma'am.
All right.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, darling.
Are you still there, ma'am? I'm not hearing her, Mr.
She's still there?
Producer. Mr. Producer, is she still online? Oh, she's gone. Okay. Here's what Brother Cartwright has been saying to you. You see, Bahamians, you have to find a righteous person. Scripture is very clear on that. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority. You see, two major questions I've been asking from last July the 8th and even before then. When the righteous in authority, the people rejoice. Do you have righteous people running your constituencies? Do you have righteous people running the government? Do you have wicked people running your constituencies? Do you have wicked people running the government? Bahamians, the scriptures are clear cut. It tells you what happens when righteous people run things. It tells you what happens when wicked people run things. So if we keep going contrary to scripture, we're going to keep suffering, Bahamians. We could stop this crap today. We don't have to even go for no election. We could stop this crap right now today. But are we serious about running this country the right way, the proper way it ought to go? Because we have been suffering for a long time, which simply means we have wicked people running things at the parliamentary level and at the government level. It's just that simple, Bahamians. This is no big, deep, dark secret. Come on. We got to say it the way it is. We have wicked people running things. As the scripture says, when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And all I've been getting was people mourning and crying from the time I started doing this show, even from Bodie time. When Bodie was here, I used to fill in for him. But the point is, that's what your scriptures tell you. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And you've been crying from that time. We got to stop that foolishness. The lines are open 3260271, 3260272, 813-0271. The key, Bahamians, is to get the right person with the right spirit, the right attitude into the House of Assembly, and let's get this thing. We got to start over again, like the caller said earlier in the show. We got to start all over from scratch. This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. This Valentine's, express your undying love with a love package from Windermere Day Spa and Salons. There's Cupid's Arrow, offering an enzyme facial, manicure, and spa pedicure, just $162. Or the Hugs and Kisses package, stress relief massage, gel manicure with spa pedicure, just $147. Or do the couples thing with the Soulmate Soiree, a couples aromatherapy massage, couples spa pedicure, and a couples manicure, all for just $330. Call today and make your appointment. Windermere at Harbor Bay or Windermere at Case Village. Gift certificates are available in-store or online at www.windermeredayspa.com. Happy Valentine's Day from Windermere Day Spa and Salon.
Scout Studios, located Zion Boulevard in the plaza with One Stop Auto, wants to get you ready for the month of love. Call 603-0514 or WhatsApp 439-7291. Book any 3 styles and be eligible to enter and win a 30-inch with frontal installation or updo and
Myra Scents and Gifts, formerly Bed and Bath Concepts, is located at the Mall at Marathon. They've got gift baskets, gift sets, teddy bears, and women handbags. You will also find the best selection of perfumes, especially the now hard to find ones like Club de Nude for men and women, Red Door, Perry Ellis, White's Diamond, and an assortment of Arabian perfumes, just to name a few. It's Myra Scents and Gifts. Friendly atmosphere, affordable prices, satisfied customers. Come on in. We're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Telephone 393-5958. Myra Scents and Gifts.
Hey, Shoe Depot has what you and your wallet need. They are stuffed with stylish and exciting footwear, handbags, wallets, and accessories for all occasions. Shoes for the professional, casual, cute and glitzy, skid resistant, and ultra comfortable for those long work days. Shoe Depot has got you. Oh, and be sure to join our Shoe Depot Rewards Club for extra savings and earn points for special benefits. Visit either of our 2 locations, Golden Gate Plaza or the Palmdale Plaza. At Shoe Depot, you'll find the best selection of the best styles and at the best prices.
Steve Harvey here from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Everybody knows that I love to chill out with great music. There's only one place you can get this. Tonight at 7 p.m.
As soon as you clock off from work, make sure you lock right into me. I'm Lenny Green from The Quiet Storm, inviting you to come on over. I've got all of that R&B ear candy that you love. Plus, we'll engage in conversations inside a confession of love and so much more. And you never know who's going to drop by. It's The Quiet Storm, all getting underway tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on Global 99.5. I'm Lenny Green from The Quiet Storm. Keep it moving.
From East Street to Blue Hill Road, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. The lines are open 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. Bahamians, we have a lot of problems in this country, and a lot of things have to be investigated. And we want to be fair to everyone who is being investigated on any particular issue. At the same time, we have to have honest, reliable, dependable, responsible people. But you have to have God in it. Anything with God ain't in it is not reliable, Bahamians. Because God says in Proverbs 29, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And all I've been hearing from the time I've been on the air is people mourning all the time. So what does that tell you? Why are they not rejoicing? Why are they not happy? Then you got all this crime. Bahamians, all of these problems. Molestation of children. I mean, where we get this from? Fathers molesting the little children. What is this? Then you get 5 years, as if the little children are just nothing. 5 years. What kind of nonsense is that? We seem to have a problem with the judiciary also. Because we have to have justice, Bahamians. We got to have some harsh penalties for these kind of wicked things. People seem to be getting away with wickedness because there's no harsh enforcement of law. But now we're going to hear a clip from the Prime Minister. He says about some law that they're putting in effect, and he and the leader of the opposition won't have anything to do with it. Let's hear what he has to say. Go ahead, Mr. Producer.
Security forces.
I would mind serving on a commission like that if what the Prime Minister say is true. It would appear as if he may have intent in his heart. Sometimes God allows them to say some positive things, you know. They might even underhand the heck what they're saying. But if that kind of commission is set up, I wouldn't mind being a member on a commission like that because Bahamians, we got to clean up this place, you know. But you have to have honest, reliable, dependable, responsible people to carry out the functions of the commission. You can't just be looking over your shoulder and say, well, I was appointed by this particular personality, that particular personality, instead of dealing with the function that you are there for to perform. Anything outside of that, we're playing games, Bahamians. And the people themselves have to be of good character. That's why the scriptures tell us when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And we've been having people mourning for how long now? Must be from the very beginning. Because every time I come on the radio and I speak to the Bahamian people, there will be people who complain. And I'm not saying Bahamians do not complain if you have problems. I'm not knocking that at all. But what I want to hear from the Bahamian people, I asked 2 questions, but I can't get no answer. I can't get any answer from the Bahamian people to tell me over the last 58 years and 1 month, over the last 51 years, 7 months and about 10 days, what major constituency problems have been solved in this country, in each particular constituency, and these are the clear-cut benefits that the people are enjoying today. I ain't talking about what the current representative is doing or not doing. I'm interested in that. Because if you've had representation from day one, all the way back to January the 10th, 1967, come on, Bahamians. What are we saying? You haven't seen any positive development in your particular constituency where you live, where your children live, You haven't seen any national problems change over that 58-year span in your country. What major benefits are you now enjoying? Or just wasted money? Billions and billions and billions of dollars just wasted. We have nothing to show for it. This don't make any sense. We need solutions to problems, Bahamians. And that's what I want you to get to understand. You can't just say you enjoy the program, oh, Professor, that was a good show. I hear that and I appreciate your sentiments. But Bahamians, I want to see that water in Pinewood, that problem, that flooding problem, solved. But the people of Pinewood have to want it solved. And as far as I know now, I haven't seen any action on the part of those people. They sitting right there and letting this old lady suffer. And some other elderly ladies are suffering. The way how that house is structured is very dangerous. And if she were to fall, she could get hurt very badly. But see, these are the things, Bahamians, we got to look at. Then you got some areas which are raging in murders. We are losing a lot of our young men. Let's concentrate on things like that. And let us stop robbing our young people of their talent, their ability to help build the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. These people have a contribution to make because it happened to a relative of my family. So I know how it feels now with people when they tell you, say, Professor, here is what happened to my daughter or my son. And you heard Desiree's mother on another show. She called in and spoke to it. And how her daughter is just frustrated. Having done all this work, and yet a political personality is taking the credit for it. And her name is not mentioned, just pushed to the ground and bear it. Bahamians, that is foolishness. Now, see, we got to stop that foolishness from going on. That's why you got to stand up and speak, Bahamians, and then do something about it. And you ain't sure how to do that, you call Professor Sidney Walter Thompson. I'll be glad to help you. Because Bahamians, it's no point sticking around if you ain't solving no problems. But you're hanging around here for just to see more misery. 58 years since majority rule, 51 years since independence. No, we can't have that. Brother Cartwright.
Yes, sir. Professor, every time I listen to the masses, they always say, oh, this one day and doing this and doing that. And I say, listen, your representative is a reflection of you.
Yeah, I think we have
caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, go ahead. Call your live on here. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Caller, come.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
go ahead. Yes. Go ahead,
Hello?
caller. Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. You're on there.
We can hear you.
Okay. I'm calling in. This is my first time calling.
Well, thank you.
I am a Bahamian. I'm born in Nassau.
Yeah, go ahead, caller. I think you have feedback on that end.
Hello?
If you can
Yes, we
shut
can
your
hear you.
radio off.
Could you
No,
turn your
need to
radio
turn
down?
the radio off. No, tell her shut it off completely.
Oh, my TV. I can't cut my TV off that I can't see.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Well, then
Okay.
let's
All right,
see what
Bob.
you could do. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
But I wanted to tell Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
But I can't see.
We hear you. We can hear you. We hear go ahead. Talk to
Okay,
us.
listen to me. Okay, listen to me carefully.
Okay.
I'm 75.
Okay.
Born 1949. Okay? I know but Nassau, and I know what's going on in Nassau. That's how you know, Professor.
Yes, ma'am.
The best thing now for these people to do is clean it up. Vote the two of the parties them out.
Yes, ma'am.
Vote the PLP and the SNM. The two of them out. That they then had their time.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am, if you have anything else to add.
Both the two and them out.
Yes,
They've
ma'am.
been in there too long.
Okay.
Yes. And then
Okay.
at the time.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I come from two Congressville. I come from the Valley too.
Oh, you come from the
Okay.
valley?
I come
Okay.
from the Valley too.
Okay.
And I know Perry Christie. And I know all of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So you in the same constituency I'm in then?
I clean this country up with these Haitians and these foreigners in the country taking our land.
Yes, ma'am.
If Mama and Daddy was living, this wouldn't have happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna have to carry on from mommy and daddy. That's what's gonna have to happen. They would expect us to do better. So we have to learn from their example.
No, I moved from the
You
I
moved from
moved from the
Centerville.
valley. I live in Pinewood.
Oh, you down there with all that water. You got to stop that water from, coming up through the floor. What are the other people saying in Pinewood?
Yes.
What are the other
And the
people?
straw market, and Mama and Papa in the straw market, they want to let these people come and take over.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I understand. So what are people saying about this flooding in Pinewood?
Yes. And I hear, why would the water side?
You want me to side with the water?
The people are scared.
Are they scared, eh? Say the people scared. I think, has she gone? Mr. I don't know if she's
You
still.
but I can't go.
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
She lost her sight.
Yes,
She's watching it on TV.
Yes, she's hearing herself.
Yeah, she's hearing us from TV.
Well, thank you for your contribution, ma'am. But thank you very much. Mr. Brucey, you can let her go.
Yeah.
I think she...
Well, Mr. Producer, before we move, let me read some more of these Facebook.
Yes. Comments, yeah.
You could go back up a bit where you was before. Okay, come on now, a bit go. Okay, go ahead. All right, right there. Richard Brown, to stop the legal problems, we got to make it harder for them to get status. Stop giving them work permits, spousal permits. Stop giving out citizenship. The government needs to start an expatriate tax. That's something new. This would be
expatriate tax.
Yeah,
okay.
This would be put in place to make sure all foreigners pay taxes individually. Sandra Carey said Bahamians need to try and help themselves, not the government, to our purse. D'Amico Bain said, Auckland Islanders, one protective of their land. Skidoo Thompson said, Professor, what is the best way to make the government accountable? Then Skidoo says, and the fastest way. D'Amico Bain said, Haitians alone send more than 100 million annually out of the country, according to the central bank. Henry Morris, Grand Bahama in the House of the Constitutional Minds. Sandra Carey, only 39 seats. So why, if we are not pleased, why we have any problem getting these out of our house? Lloyd Poleg, Professor, you will never know the heart of a righteous man unless you know a righteous person, unless you know their hearts, and we will never know. Henry Morris said we need real places that really represent us in a real way. Not just parties, but what matters to the Bahamians. Richard Bear Brown said, D'Amico Bain, we could tax 280 to 350 million in taxes from expats, many of them making 56,000 to 58,000 monthly. Catherine Sands, what are the illegals contributing to our country other than burning our resources? Richard Brown, nothing, no contribution, none whatsoever. They are benefiting. Skidoo Thompson, Professor, there's no law for Mr. Brave Davis. He needs to be held accountable. There's no law for him. Who can tell me how I can make an example of this wicked person? Richard Brown. The government just signed a $250 million loan from the African Export Bank that's over $2 billion borrowed by this administration. That's the last one. I didn't say
Right.
more.
I want you to read that other one where the person mentioned about righteous person.
Okay, come on down. That's
read that
right. Let's see. Go
It
back
say, you
up.
know, knowing about the heart of a righteous person.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Yeah, read that up. Let's read that again.
Hold on. No, go the other way, Mr. Producer.
It's not too far up.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Right there.
Uh-huh.
Lloyd Boleg, Professor, you will never know a righteous person unless you know their hearts. And we will never know.
No, but you can know their heart. This why, see, when God puts something in writing, he doesn't put it there and leave you in suspense. He said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Now, the scriptures will tell you what is a righteous person. The question is, are you prepared to trust God, who will tell you in no uncertain terms the heart of a righteous person? They can't fake this, you know. If you know how wicked people are, well, the same way you know wicked people, you could know righteous people.
Yes.
Scripture says when the wicked bear rule, what happens? The people mourn. Isn't you see that happening?
People are complaining.
People have been complaining from day one, from the first time I went on the airwaves. People have been complaining. That don't happen when righteous people running things.
No,
So if you know wickedness, you know the opposite of wickedness is righteousness. And scripture tells you exactly the heart of a righteous person. Person who cares about you, who loves you, who will take his shirt off your back and put it on you, who will take those burdens in that particular constituency, put it on his back, take it to the House of Assembly, and work for the people of that particular constituency.
And not the party.
Not the party. So maybe what has to happen, and let me just put this interjection here, maybe me to have 39 independent candidates in the House of Assembly, 39 independent representatives in the House of Assembly, because this party crap is not working. You've been giving political parties massive landslides of seats. It ain't working, Bahamians. So what the heck you gonna do? You can keep going that route all the time? The key is to find righteous person. If you have 39 independent representatives who are righteous, you can get a better government. God guarantees you that. Because we've seen the trend where people who are in these particular parties, all they do is toe the party line. There's no representation whatsoever for the people of the particular constituency. Go ahead, Brother Cartwright, before we end the show.
Yes, Professor. You know, tomorrow we will continue most of this topic about.
Oh, yeah, we have to.
And you look at it, you're right, because no matter which party we elect, you know, some people say, no, well, I never had the chance. But I was like,
no.
Party politics is prevalent in this country.
Very prevalent.
And whether we want to admit it or not, whether you're PLP, FNMCOI, or Constitutional Party, people are basically going to fall in line with party line as a representative. And so that's what you're talking about as an independent. And people don't realize it has been independents candidates who have basically bring changes to most of these administrations.
That is correct.
Going back from the time memorial to now.
Yes, that's correct.
You know, we've seen where one guy just recently was an FNM, and before the election, he crossed over as an independent and then became a PLP.
Yes.
So anything is possible. So we're looking forward that in the future that we can have 39 persons, male and female, who love this country and has some semblance.
Yes.
You must have some semblance of the Constitution, because if you don't know the Constitution,
well, that's going to be a problem.
It'll be a problem for
Big
us.
problem, yes.
So we would like for you guys to be safe, and then tomorrow.
Yes, until tomorrow. Yeah, well, thank you very much, Brother Cartwright. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. Please be safe today, Bahamians. We want to see you tomorrow, and we want you to participate in the show. Now, remember now to organize yourselves on the ground in your particular constituency. If you're not sure how to do that, you call Professor Thompson, and I'll be delighted to help you to do it. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. See you until tomorrow. Have a pleasant afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.